Well, thank you, and welcome again to the regular Mesa City Council meeting for May the 4th. All of our council is present for this meeting. As a reminder to the public, at this council meeting, we are taking comments telephonically and electronically. You can find multiple ways to participate on the first page of the council agenda. Additionally, if you want to speak, you should submit a blue card 1 hour before the meeting. Again, you can find that information on the first page of the agenda and at mesaz.gov/blue card. We will begin our meeting with a moment of silence followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for the moment of silence. I'm sorry, we'll begin with the moment of silence followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you. The first item on our agenda for this meeting is awards and recognitions. First on our awards and recognitions agenda is recognizing a few businesses in Mesa that have gone above and beyond to help out during the coronavirus pandemic. I have some beautiful awards to pass out. First, Waymo, as I indicated in our last meeting, Waymo, a great new addition to the Mesa business community, donated $100,000 to the Arizona Coronavirus Relief Fund. So we want to acknowledge that very significant gift from Waymo to the community. Thank you very much. Also, WIST, W-I-S-T, supported the Mesa Public Library in 3D printing of face shields. So WIST, thank you very much for that great contribution. The next two organizations worked together to make personal protective equipment, or PPE, for our first responders. The Mesa Chamber of Commerce donated $500 to the East Valley Institute of Technology, EVIT, who then used those funds to purchase supplies to make hundreds of supplies like gowns, caps, and shoe covers. So thank you very much, Mesa Chamber of Commerce, and the great folks at EVIT. I promise you'll be receiving these awards in person. We also have a growing list of individuals making and donating cloth, surgical, and N95 masks. We'd like to give a big thank you to Joan Alcott, Angela and Trevor Madrid, Victoria Johnson, Virginia McMullen, Ken Hayes, Adele Washburn, Bethany Freeland, Sharice Mead, Nick Jackson, Michelle Simpson, and the Chinese American COVID Relief Fund of Arizona. I know that's not an inclusive list of everyone who has participated in this effort and contributed in our community. Again, would you please send us emails so that we can provide more recognitions of all the great services going on in our community, but those were the ones we had knowledge about, and so those were the ones we recognized. Next time in our meeting, we'll list restaurants and businesses who have stepped up to feed and hydrate our first responders. We also have one proclamation, as Councilmember Duff indicated earlier, for tonight. I'd like to proclaim May 2020 as Historic Preservation Month. We have an historic preservation program in Mesa that facilitates an understanding of Mesa's past, promotes awareness of its architectural and cultural history, and preserves that history so future generations will have the opportunity to learn about our unique cultural heritage. With us tonight via Zoom to accept the proclamation is Greg Merrick, Mesa's Historic Preservation Board Chair. Welcome, Mr. Merrick.
Thank you, Mayor and City Council. And as Chair of the City's Historic Preservation Board, and on behalf of the board and the city's preservation program, thank you for the proclamation recognizing Historic Preservation Month. For this occasion, I'm wearing Mesa's Historic Preservation t-shirt with a picture of the diving lady neon sign. Just as a quick background, Preservation Month began as National Preservation Week in 1973. In 2005, the National Trust for Historic Preservation extended the celebration to the entire month of May and declared it Preservation Month to provide an even greater opportunity to celebrate the diverse and unique heritage of our country's cities and states. Every year in May, local preservation groups, state historical societies, and business and civic organizations across the country celebrate Preservation Month through events that promote historic places and heritage tourism, and that demonstrate the social and economic benefits of historic preservation. For this year, we wanted to recognize all of Mesa's residents and business owners who have received a City of Preservation Historic Preservation Award, but due to current circumstances, that will have to wait. Over the years, we've seen that the preservation benefits the economy, promotes heritage tourism, and helps stabilize our neighborhoods. Older buildings provide excellent incubator space for all types of businesses. Preservation brings in private investment, as we've seen with the rehabilitation and adaptive reuse of the Alhambra Hotel, and it increases property values. Heritage tourism brings dollars to the local economy, and one example is neon sign parks. They are becoming the destination tourism attraction. And Mesa's had many historic preservation successes. We have numerous properties listed on the National Register of Historic Places, including archaeological sites, commercial buildings, and churches that represent the diversity of Mesa's history. In addition to the rehab of the Alhambra Hotel, Mesa has 8 designated historic neighborhoods, and each of these neighborhoods has experienced stabilization and an increase in property values. And we are saving our neon signs and have started removing the colonnade and completing facade renovations on our downtown commercial buildings. And all of this is happening because we have a great partnership between the city, the State Historic Preservation Office, Mesa Preservation Foundation, and our neighborhoods, and also the Mesa Historical Museum. So thanks to the City Council providing funding for our Historic Preservation Coordinator, Ariana Urban, and we are now in the process of rebuilding our program. We have received a certified local government grant to update our preservation ordinance and do design guidelines for our neighborhoods. So we're moving forward, and with all these partners, I think good things will be happening in Mesa's preservation program, and I want to thank you for the proclamation.
Thank you, Greg, and please pass on our thanks to your board, and we'll get this proclamation into your hands soon.
Great, thank you very much.
You bet. The next item on our agenda is to take action on the consent agenda. Ms. Mickelson, have there been any requests to take an item off of the consent agenda?
No request, Mayor.
Okay. Mr. Whitaker, I believe you asked in study session to have agenda item 8A removed from the consent agenda. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. And Ms. Mickelson, I know an individual submitted a card on agenda item 5F, but in opposition to that item, but did not request that it be removed from the consent agenda. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you. Well, with that understanding, then we'd invite Kevin Christopher to read the consent agenda.
Good evening, Mayor and Council members. These are the items on the consent agenda. All items listed with an asterisk will be considered as a group by the City Council and will be enacted with one motion. There will be no separate discussion unless the council member or citizen requests, in which event the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered as a separate item. Item 2, approval of minutes of previous meetings is written. Item 3A, act on liquor license application for One Stop Food Mart and Deli, 1620 West University Drive. Item 3B, act on liquor license application for Barrow's Pizza, 1925 East Brown Road. Item 3C, act on liquor license application for Brookdale Springs Mesa, 6220 East Broadway Road. Item 4A, act on 2-year renewal of the term contract for printing and mailing of election publicity pamphlets for the City Clerk's Office. Item 4B, act on 1-year renewal with a 1-year renewal option for the term contract for automotive deep cycle sealed case batteries for the Fleet Services Department. Item 4C, act on ratification of the emergency purchase of surgical masks for the Mesa Fire and Medical Department. It is anticipated that this purchase will be reimbursed by federal funding through FEMA or the CARES Act. Item 4D, act on ratification of emergency purchase of surgical masks and a dollar limit increase to the term contract for janitorial and sanitation supplies for the Mesa Fire and Medical Department. It is anticipated purchases relating to this increase will be reimbursed by federal funding through FEMA or the CARES Act. Item 4E, act on a 3-year term contract with 2 years of renewal options for weed management and landscaping services for the Signal Butte Water Treatment Plant as requested by the Water Resources Department. Item 4F has been removed from the agenda. Item 4G, act on 1-year renewal with a 1-year renewal option of the term contract for LED traffic signal heads and pedestrian signals for the Materials and Supply Warehouse. Item 4H, act on East Valley Adult Resources tenant improvements. This project is funded by the Community Development Block Grant Funds. Item 5A, act on resolution approving and authorizing the city manager to enter into an intergovernmental agreement with ADOT for construction and maintenance of the Route 24 eastbound bridge over Ellsworth Road, as well as the City of Mesa enhancements and roadway elements necessary for the connection to State Route 24. Item 5B, act on resolution modifying fees and charges for the Arts and Culture Department. Item 5C, act on resolution modifying fees and charges for the Business Services Department. Item 5D, act on resolution modifying fees and charges for the Development Services Department. Item 5E, act on resolution modifying fees and charges for the Engineering Department. Item 5F, act on resolution modifying fees and charges for Falcon Field Airport. Item 5G, act on resolution modifying fees and charges for the Library Services Department. Item 5H, act on resolution modifying fees and charges for the Mesa Municipal Court. Item 5I, act on resolution modifying fees and charges for the Police Department, City Prosecutor's Office, and Animal Control Division. Item 5J, act on resolution modifying fees and charges for the Transportation Department. Item 6A, introduction of ordinance regarding ZON 20-00024. This is for property generally located west of Mesa Drive and north of Main Street, a rezone within the form-based code regulating plan. Item 7A, act on ordinance regarding ZON 19-00687. This is for property located on the east side of Val Vista Drive, south of McAllips Road. This request will allow for development of a single residence subdivision. Item 7B, act on ordinance regarding ZON 19-00706. This is for property located on the southeast corner of University Drive and Sossman Road, a rezone to allow for development of a small lot single residence subdivision. And item 7C, act on ordinance regarding ZON 19-00960. This is for property located east of Power Road on the south side of Baseline Road. Modification of improved planned area development and site plan modification to allow for development of a medical office building and a future pad site. Mayor and council members, these are the items on the consent agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Christopher. Ms. Mickelson, there has not been any additional request to remove an item from the consent agenda, has there?
No additional requests, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Council, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda? Thank you, Mr. Luna, and a seconded by Mr. Freeman. We will do a roll call vote. I vote aye. Vice Mayor Freeman, how do you vote?
Aye.
Thank you. Councilmember Whitaker.
Aye.
Thank you. Councilmember Heredia.
Aye.
Thank you. Councilmember Duff.
Aye.
Thank you. Councilmember Luna.
Aye.
Thank you. Councilmember Thompson.
Aye.
Thank you. That motion passes unanimously. The next item on our agenda is item 8A. Item 8A is to take action on the tentative adoption of the proposed fiscal year 2020-2021 budget. Is there any discussion on this item?
You have a comment?
Yes, Mr. Whitaker.
Yeah, so obviously I pulled this off of consent. I have issues with the structural imbalance of the budget as I have in the past. The GFOA recommends a minimum balance of 16% in our reserves, which obviously we're burning through rapidly. And if this COVID thing gets much worse, then I think that's only going to expedite the decrease of our reserves. So, I feel like it's really time to start cutting our discretionary spending rather than these plans of laying off employees. And as I look at the charts for the future projections, I think it's also a lot more optimistic than the reality of the situation. We encroach on a depression and the Fed has basically lowered the rates to zero. I don't think our future growth rate is going to look the same. So I think these are some things that we need to start taking seriously. So with that, I'll be voting against the proposed budget this year.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Whitaker. Any additional comments from council? All right, is there, yes, Mr. Freeman?
I was going to make a motion to approve 8A.
Thank you, Mr. Freeman. Is there a second? Seconded by Mr. Luna. We will do a roll call vote. I vote aye. Vice Mayor Freeman, how do you vote?
Aye.
Thank you. Councilmember Whitaker.
Nay.
Thank you. Councilmember Heredia.
Aye.
Thank you. Councilmember Duff.
Aye.
Thank you. Councilmember Luna.
Aye.
Thank you. Councilmember Thompson.
Aye.
Thank you. The motion passes 6 ayes and 1 nay, with Mr. Whitaker voting nay. The next item on our agenda is items from citizens present. Ms. Mickelson, do we have any requests to speak?
No request, Mayor.
Thank you very much. That concludes the items on our agenda for this meeting. Is there a motion to adjourn? Thank you, Mr. Luna, seconded by Mr. Thompson. Please unmute your microphones and we'll have a voice vote. All in favor of adjourning this meeting, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. We are adjourned.